and we still get messages daily.
A lot of people.
A lot of people.
The letters have poured in by the hundreds.
Dear Tara, Brian, Indy, and Birdie, hi from New Hampshire.
Digital posts typed out by thousands.
Thank you for sharing your lives, hopes, dreams, and strengths with the world.
And if you scroll through the loves and the likes and the shares,
We are in the midst of something great.
oh, it adds up fast with the clicks, literally in the millions. That's right, millions. All because of one.
I can't tell you how grateful I am for your Indy Lou.
If Indy can do this, I can.
I truly believe with every part of my being that Indy Lou saved my life. She is changing people and inspiring people, and it's the Indy Effect.
May 19th, 2016, and little Indy Lou Jones came into this world in answer to countless prayers. Her parents, Brian and Tara, she was a godsend. After 5 years, 2 miscarriages, 1 failed in vitro, and the loss of a twin, this sweet baby girl was about to give her parents
Yeah, it was a shock.
one more surprise.
We expected her to come out one way, and she came out a different way, and so there felt like a disconnect for a minute, like, wait, that's not the baby I just carried for 9 months. But then as soon as like we saw her again and we held her, you could just feel her spirit, and you just knew like, this is our baby, like this is Indy, and this is how she was supposed to come. And it just all of a sudden was like, whoa.
Every year in the U.S., 1 in 700 babies is born with Down syndrome. And with that extra chromosome comes a list of challenges: intellectual, emotional, physical challenges. And even after doctors discovered 5 holes in her tiny little heart,
Indy. Nice.
Brian and Tara embraced those challenges. And Indy, she acted as though she never even had them.
She was so fun, and like her spirit just from the very beginning was gigantic, and it was contagious. So you just wanted to be around her every second.
1, 2, 3, go!
Brian and Tara had Indy living her best life. They were hiking, they were camping, they were showing this little girl the world. That's when Tara decided.
Honestly, even looking back now, I can't tell you how I started that blog.
With just around 100 followers, mostly friends and family, Tara posted the story of Indy's birth. Awake my soul. It was honest, it was raw, and it was the beginning of something she never could have imagined.
It just felt like true inspiration, honestly. I don't know how else to explain it other than it was an impression that came to write it and to share it.
Tara's something special because when she finally says, Indy Lou is my baby and I'm gonna show the world what my baby is, like, I've never seen a mom rally around a little child like that ever.
In just the first few hours of that single post, Tara says there were 10,000 shares. 10,000 affected to the level that they wanted everyone in their individual circles to feel what they felt. Circles expanding to the Down syndrome community.
Instead of just looking at the statistics and what the medical world says about Down syndrome, you flip it over and say, hey, look at the beauty in this.
Yeah.
And now they had somewhere to go and someone to show it, right? They had someone to see.
I am love. I am light. I am bright. I am Indy Lou.
For the next 12 months, Indy's big adventure took her places most kids her age have never seen. Tara made sure it was documented. She was laughing, she was happy, she was healthy, until she wasn't.
Tara started getting some intuitions, let's say, that Indy's not, something's not okay.
For like months. I was,
You know?
that mother's intuition, where it's like something is wrong with her.
A mother's intuition, combined with the fact Tara is a former ER and pediatric nurse, Those seemingly subtle signs Indy was sick did not seem so subtle. They were in Hawaii at the time, but Brian did not believe a word of it until
I remember specifically the night before we came home, I ran to the store to grab something and I came back and I remember sitting in our condos in parking stall 35A. And I pulled in and I just heard this voice, felt this voice that said, Indy's got leukemia.
We went straight to the hospital, got her blood drawn, and they told us, yeah, she has leukemia. Talk about crushing.
Yeah, that was the next big reset for us.
Indy was diagnosed with myelodysplastic syndrome. It is rare, it is aggressive, and it's treated that way. 5 rounds of chemo, 5 months in the cancer unit, 5 months of fighting a disease, desperately trying to take her life.
It was like, I don't care what our life looks like with Indy with Down syndrome. I just want Indy here. Cancer is so hard, but watching a child fight through it is, it changes you.
And not just Brian and Tara. The number of people changed by Indy was growing and growing and growing.
I don't understand how someone can have an Insta story of Indy eating wild blueberries and watching a show and her giggle going through cancer, how that can change somebody on the other side of the world.
For the better part of a year, this little girl fought cancer. She beat cancer. And by the looks of it,
Just giggling and making everyone's day and her little purple walker.
oh, she likely never even knew she had cancer.
She has an effect that I don't know how it happens, but you look at her and you watch her and it changes you.
Hi, Mary Grace. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Across the country and around the world,
What is it, 9 o'clock in France?
Yes, it is 9 o'clock in France.
Indy's reach was expanding.
Where are you?
I'm from upstate New York.
And if you take a moment to read the posts and the comments,
Is the Indy Effect real?
Oh, yeah.
it is powerful.
Yeah, 100%, 1000%. She pulled me out of a very dark place. I think God used her to pull me out of that place.
When I found their Instagram, I was already in hospital. I kind of wanted to give up a little bit.
I had no faith, like rock bottom in my life.
And I'm like, you know what? This little girl is battling something so much bigger than the problems I have.
If she can do this, if the whole family can do this, with such a smile and strength, I can do it too.
I talked about her being the lighthouse. She was my lighthouse. She saved me. Like, she would save me from those darkest moments.
I'm in a totally different place now and I'm happy and thriving.
The Indy Effect is extremely real. Extremely real. There's no other way to describe it.
Out of the hospital and living life, Tara describes the next 10 months as pure bliss. Indy's cancer was gone. They had another baby girl.
Oh man, you're cute.
Yeah, that's Birdie there. Hi, Birdie. She was all smiles. Indy was all smiles. Social media was all smiles. Until
You just have to like accept another whole different plan.
Indy relapsed. And this time, the cancer was even worse.
And I remember thinking, like, this is it. This is it. This is how it happens.
Indy received a bone marrow transplant. It failed. Her lungs shut down. She was on life support. For a moment,
They fling the doors open and they turn on all the lights and this army of people come swarming into your room.
her little heart stopped beating.
There was this part of us that was like, she deserves to just be free of all of this. This has been way too much, and we just want Indy to be happy. And then there's this other part of you as a parent that's like, it can't go this way. This isn't how it was supposed to happen.
Now, there is a picture from the hospital where if you look closely enough away from the tubes and the broken skin, Indy's fingers are crossed. It is a subtle moment, once revealed. Became the clarion call to every corner of the world. All those people who had been drawing strength and faith from Indy over the years
I haven't prayed for years, but I have been praying for Indy.
were now being asked to share their own.
We had people that were like, I don't even know what fasting is, but you tell me what it is, I will do anything for Indy.
People are putting her name on the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem or sending us holy water from France. They're putting her name on temple rolls across the world.
Messages from people of like, I don't pray, I never even believed in God, but like, I'll do anything for Indy.
Anything for Indy, anything to keep her alive, anything in hope of a miracle.
If there ever was a time to save a little girl and a miracle was needed, now is that time.
The shortest balloons are going to be 6 feet. The tallest balloons are going to be 12 feet.
Now, there's something you should know about little girls who fight cancer, who beat cancer,
Okay, what do we got here?
and are then forced to battle again. It became clear little Indy Lou
She was clinging, but she was still fighting.
would not give up. Doctors took her off life support. She was sent home, but the cancer was still there.
Heavenly Father, are you really going to take this little girl? Look at the good she's doing. Look at the good.
What color's your car, Indy Lou?
In the middle of her fight, the Make-A-Wish Foundation built Indy a backyard playhouse with a certain theme she loves from a certain movie she loves,
It just has become like our thing. Indy loves the movie Up.
featuring a small mailman she loves.
He's the cutest little Russell, if you've seen the show. The cutest little Russell.
And even though Indy was home, she was not better. In fact, the reality was
Like, we pulled her off all her medications and we put it in the Lord's hands.
Indy was given just 6 weeks to live.
Indy Lou, come here, sweet girl.
But here's the thing about those 6 weeks. There's a lot of things in life explained by science, but this time,
Physically, we could see her like,
She's
getting stronger.
improving. Yeah.
science had no answer.
We brought her home and the cancer cells were going up, 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 and then all of a sudden they started going down.
Indy's cancer was gone.
it was the defining miracle of my life.
Miracles still happen today, and that's what we have witnessed. And Indy became a witness to the world and to all these thousands of people who love her and have followed her story. You know, she became this witness of miracles.
If you're curious how the Jones family celebrates miracles,
Is that gonna be so fun? Yeah?
this would be the last celebration in their Salt Lake City home. They were moving.
But they built the house in place, and where we moved, there's no access to the backyard. So there's no way to get this out except it's got to float out of here.
They're moving on to another adventure, and we're so happy and excited for them.
She's brought lots of miracles to our street, Indy has, and one of them is flying houses.
Should be about center.
Fighting cancer will get you balloons.
You can see Carl.
Beating cancer, that'll earn you a playhouse.
Indy Lou, can you see your house?
But fighting and beating cancer a second time,
So magical, huh?
well, that gives you every reason to look up.
It felt like a new beginning. The close of the cancer chapter. A new beginning.
A new beginning for the Jones family as Indy continued inspiring new beginnings around the world. Both young and old, believer and non-believer, complete stranger and
Absolutely didn't care about anything. Didn't care about myself.
and family.
I was on a destructive path, though.
Shane Tisdale, Indy's grandpa, he was actually in the hospital months earlier when Indy's heart stopped beating. And as he watched his little granddaughter fighting for her life, it was never more evident that Indy,
When I got out of prison, she was 3.
she likely saved his.
You know, so I only really had 2 years with Indy.
Grandpa Tisdale spent the better part of 4 decades buying drugs, selling drugs, and using drugs. You could say his relationship with Indy
Up until then, I was one of those outsiders.
Was almost non-existent. But for a month, after Indy coded lying unresponsive in the ICU.
For those 30 days she was in the hospital, I go up every day and she had a yellow car in one hand that she loved, and then I would just hold her other hand and talk to her every night.
Now, Grandpa Tisdale can't remember the details of those conversations, what he said, what he promised, or if Indy could even hear a word of it. What he can remember is his life of addiction began to change.
When she woke up, our relationship had changed. She heard me. From that day forward, we had a really special kind of bond. Like I was on the inside, now, and not like an outsider. And it was really powerful for me. She changed my heart. She made me want to be a better human.
In a matter of 4 years, Indy and her family went through things most will never experience in a lifetime. The lows were pretty low, but the highs...
Are you happy to be at the ocean? Yes. Yes.
Oh, you couldn't get much higher.
We wanted to get a break from the cancer world, from the hardships we'd been through. We decided to go to Puerto Rico.
9 days on the beach, and they were memorable. And then, on day 10...
we noticed Indy's eye swelling up.
Now that moment is unforgettable.
She got really, really sick. She ended up in the hospital down there. Then we found out it was leukemia in the form of tumors along her spine and in her abdomen. And they told us that she probably had 2 weeks.
Tara and Brian will be the first to tell you this third diagnosis did not feel like the others.
This one felt different.
And the miracles witnessed before would not look the same.
We started seeing miracles again. They were just miracles of different kinds. She didn't get better, but instead of 2 weeks, we got 6 weeks, and they were pretty good weeks. She just did amazing. She was always so strong and so brave.
I love you.
Yeah.
In her final days, you would never know Indy's little body was filled with cancer. Still laughing, still smiling, still impacting a countless number of people. Inspiring music, inspiring artwork, and even inspiring the voice.
Message goes out to a very special and very strong little girl. Her name is Indy Lou.
Of one of her favorite Disney characters.
I'm Maui. I know. Where's my hair? Listen, kid, I could go on and on. I could explain every natural phenomenon. The tide, the grass, the ground. Oh, that was Maui just messing around.
More than 4 million people responding to this single post. The Indy Effect had no boundaries, but the reality was her time on Earth did.
We just wanted her to be free of it. And we could tell from Indy that she was ready to be done.
In the arms of her mother, on the night of June 3rd, 2021, 11 minutes after 11, little Indy Lou Jones quietly left this world. No more hurt, no more pain, no more cancer. On the day Indy was buried, her effect was witnessed one by one by one. They followed in person, they followed online, and if there was ever any question as to the impact this 5-year-old had on the world, just look around.
It's hard to put into words how much Indy has changed my life personally. I get choked up thinking about her.
She shows that there is value to every person, every being, whether you have Down syndrome or cancer, whatever you have, your life is so valuable.
And that is what this day would become, a day of celebrating love and life, a day of smiles and tears, a day that can only be described.
And it became her signature, the Indy Effect. It's come full circle now, and maybe the miracle wasn't for Indy to live forever. maybe that miracle was just to give Indy more time, to give us more time with Indy, and the world more time with Indy. I've asked God that when my time comes, to please let it be Indy that greets me. She's the first person I want to see when I cross over.
Maybe the Indy Effect isn't some unexplainable power changing people's lives.
You are true prophets of love and blessing.
Maybe it's smiling in the middle of life's challenges.
An entire healthy life gained because of your sweet girl.
Maybe it's being brave when you're scared.
Thank you for all you have done to make me a better person.
Maybe it's keeping the faith when there's little hope.
And watching your family gave me so much hope at a time when I needed it most.
And maybe, just maybe, it's simply loving others the way that He loves.
Through Indy, this Indy Effect, God is bringing His kids back to Him. People that haven't been able to see God or they've been resisting God. So what more purpose is there than that?